Welcome back to the Speak Your Piece podcast. My name is Ian McNaughton, Big E. Apologies to anybody listening to this who doesn't like the quality of my sound or video. I don't have a webcam. I don't even have a microphone. I'm literally just going off my my earbuds. So not great, not ideal. But we persevere on this podcast. We go through some tough times and we come out stronger. Speaking of strong guys, welcome to the podcast, Patrick Deane and Justin Yip. We're back doing another F1 podcast. Boys, what's going on? What's happening?
Go, Patrick.
You're up, Justin.
Well, it's race week. So
communication is already strong here.
Yeah. We organized this. We actually organized that. It's race week in Mexico. So we're all pretty pumped. Got the hat on. Because I'm excited.
Did you get that from Scott, SYP Creator Scott? By the way, he I think wears exclusively Billabong and nothing else.
No, I did not.
Which speaking of companies who should sponsor this podcast, Billabong, I will wear every one of your sunglasses.
All their swim shorts.
All of the swim shorts, all the time.
Even during the winter.
Yeah.
And we live in Canada.
I have the legs to wear Billabong swim shorts. I have the thighs to pull it off.
The tree trunks.
Yeah. I squat. Do
you?
Yeah. Yeah, I squat. I squat all the time.
Like when?
All the time.
When was the last time?
You don't see it because I'm doing it without people seeing, all right? Yesterday yesterday was the last time I did squats. I actually did got stuck in highway traffic and want to do some, quick workout.
Oh.
Wait. On the highway?
I seen a sky highway.
Wait, weren't you driving?
I was, but there was an accident.
Oh, so you got out.
He just got out and he had the stuff in the back.
You think I'm squatting on my car? Okay, listen, we're moving on. We're going to be just doing a Formula One podcast. As Justin said, it's race week. They're in Mexico. They're in Mexico City. First time in Mexico City since 2019. Let's talk about some F1 headlines because we haven't talked. I think we've been actually pretty consistent. We haven't talked for like a couple of months, but I feel like we do an F1 podcast like every couple of months, so like we're fairly consistent with headlines. I think the major one we have to start with first, the Lewis Max, Red Bull, Mercedes title fight at the top. Patrick, I'll start with you because I know you're really invested in this. Your thoughts on the title fight so far this season?
I think it's so close. I'm hoping Max brings it out in the end, but I have a prediction that's going to come down to the last race. I think it's going to be very interesting.
Hey, man, it's so good. We got 5 races left this year. So tight. It's so close. Justin, how what are your thoughts? How are you feeling about this championship race, drivers or constructors so far?
Yeah, I think it'll definitely there's definitely be a chance for Lewis to win, but I think Max will still carry the lead going into the last race. And then Mercedes is going to have to try and pull like a Hail Mary strategy. But I think Max will still maintain his lead from now on, especially because there's rumors that Lewis could take like a new engine potentially. So then that could help Max take a bigger lead.
I hope it's like a football Hail Mary strategy where like they're actually like launching the car to the finish line ahead of Red Bull. I think that would be really cool. Again, it's a really close race. Max is 10 points up right now on Lewis, I believe, as we enter Mexico. 12 points. Where we is it 10 in the constructors or is it 5? Or there's half points too, I guess.
I've got it open. Actually.
Pull that up, Justin.
I've got it open.
23 in the drivers.
23 in drivers.
Well, it's about equivalent to the 10 because it's 2 drivers, but yeah.
Technically,
23 in the teams.
So 23 in the constructors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 23 in the constructors. The other headline, there's 3 headlines I really want to discuss, but the second headline, the other main one, Ferrari versus McLaren for 3rd in the constructors. This has been as close, maybe not at the top because, Red Bull and Mercedes are ahead of everybody else, but for 3rd place between the Dancing Horses and the Team Papaya, Justin, are you pushing for a McLaren third place finish or a Ferrari third place finish? Who are you hoping comes out on top of those two teams?
I would still like to see McLaren come up on top. I'd like to see a good fight between them, but I think I'd like to see McLaren win just a little bit more. I think Ferrari caught people out on surprise that they were actually doing so well. I think because they're just so consistent, and like they weren't really getting podiums. They were getting like fourth finishes at best, but then they're just like super consistent. Especially Carlos is really consistent. He had like 10 races in a row where he was taking points. So, but I want to see McLaren win. I still want to see him third place.
Same for you, Patrick. McLaren third.
Well, I'm always going to be biased because I am the McLaren fan for the McLaren, but there's just so much going on with the Ferrari upgrades and then Daniel suddenly doing better. So I think it's going to be very close down to the wire.
Right. Some would say you're a McLaren stan. You might be the official SYP McLaren stan for the brand. I got a Ferrari hoodie. I'm kind of rooting for Ferrari, but like I just love the battle. Like I can't hate any of those drivers. Like I love Charles and Carlos, but I also really love Lando and Daniel. That partnership has worked out really well this season.
They're all just likable drivers.
Yeah, like
Sainz is one of my favorite drivers.
It's and there's the connection between Sainz and McLaren too. Like there's a bit of history here. There's a little bit of a friendly rivalry going on. Like obviously they want to get ahead of one another, but they still want to be the best. Finally, the last main headline I want to discuss: mid and bottom table standings. This is so really I got something for Patrick to discuss about McLaren. I got to discuss about like Lewis and Mercedes. Now this is a time for Justin to discuss George Russell and Williams and why this George Russell character is pretty good at driving. Justin, your thoughts on George Russell, Williams, bottom teams?
Okay, well, I just want to say I did call it last podcast that he is going to Mercedes, and look at us now. Like he's in Mercedes. So,
Justin Yip, F1 Insider.
Huh?
Justin Yip, F1 Insider.
Yeah. I emailed Toto after the race though, not during after the race. I didn't pull it during the race email.
No. What you did is those like video calls or conference calls they do with the drivers with fans. You did that, but with Toto Wolff, and you're just like, "Is George racing for you next year?" And he's like, "Yes."
Yeah. Yes.
Unnamed source.
Yeah.
Yes, unnamed source. Insider trading, type deal going on here.
Yeah.
Who do we really like out of this mid? I mean, we'll talk about it later on with like previewing the rest of the season, but who do we really like in the bottom table? Because the last podcast we were kind of shitting on Alfa Romeo. I'm sure we probably still will this podcast, but like Williams has gone on a little bit of a run.
Has Williams or has George gone on a run?
Yeah.
I think you can give a little bit of credit to Nicholas Latifi. Like I think you can give a little bit of credit to him.
He had like the one race that he like did decent, and like they just kind of got lucky. Half the field was kind of out.
Is that in Hungary where Latifi got points there?
Yeah, like other than that, like he's been okay, but I would. He's not really costing the team money, but he's not like he's actually George.
No, but he's actually like giving the team money literally because his dad is like a funder of the team. So like his dad's actually like he's actually giving revenue to Williams Racing.
You could say he's contributing more than George.
Yeah,
without him, George might not have a car,
Yeah, it's technically you're not wrong.
Isn't that like how technically like Lance Stroll is contributing more to Aston Martin than Sebastian Vettel because his dad essentially just owns the team.
Owns the team.
Are we going the same for Mazepin or?
Probably. Yeah, like, even though like it's literally called Haas, like Gene Haas owns the team, you could argue that Mazepin is the more valuable.
Mazepin for.
Well, it's like the meme. They're driving a Russian colored car at their home Grand Prix. So
Yeah, Mick's been driving a fucking Russian car all year, and nobody's doing it. It's like, yeah, that's just the team colors. It's like your team colors have never been red, white, and blue.
Hey, maybe Rich Energy will come back and it'll be black and gold. You never know. One more time.
I've seen so many TikToks of Rich Energy. I don't know why.
Yeah, I know. There's actually rumors now.
22 cars.
I can't believe people just think it's a real thing. I can't believe people are just like, yeah, Rich Energy is like an actual thing. It's like I don't think so. It sounds it sounds very sketchy.
That was one of the best parts of Drive to Survive, though. It's so comical.
Yeah.
It really was. It's just like everybody just failed at every level in vetting Rich Energy, and Rich Energy failed in doing their own part.
How many people signed off on that?
Oh yeah, so many people in like who are in F1 now. Like it's not like this is like happened like so long ago. Like this was a few years ago, and people are like, yeah, this is good to go. This is fine. It's cool.
Yeah.
The only people they can afford to hire at Haas, I guess.
Probably. Everybody just needs, some third party sponsor to, come help out, which, hey, Alfa Romeo, if you're looking for somebody, SYP will sponsor Alfa Romeo. They might actually be okay next year with Valtteri. We'll make it work. Do you know about
the budget?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, okay.
I'll talk to my finance guys. Do you
You're talking to them.
I got a bunch of finance dudes. It's actually almost disturbing how many like finance guys I know. Have you heard about the going off topic a bit? You heard about like the old New York Islanders hockey team owner? Patrick, you might know the story about how like the Islanders hockey team was going to be bought by this guy who like had little to no money. I want to see if I can pull up that 30 for 30. But essentially that's what we'd be doing with Alfa Romeo. It's just like, you gotta wire transfer like, hey, we need 300,000 by like November 28th, and I only sent 30,000. And it's like, oh, hey, sorry guys, like missed a zero. Like, hope that's okay. It's like, no, it actually isn't. Like, you need to be sending 300,000, and he only sent 30,000.
We'll just take out a loan to show proof of funds, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, that oh god. So fucking
just picture the branding on the side of the car. Yeah, you're almost there.
Yeah.
Well, when I
glossy black too.
Well, when I've done like the NHL or NBA sponsors, posts, and it's just like, would we look good on like a Sidney Crosby jersey? And it's just like, yeah, people think it looks really good, especially when I like overemphasize the SYP logo and it doesn't even fit on the shoulder. Then people really like it. All right, we're gonna do a bit of a 2022 kind of preview look ahead here. So how many teams do we not know? So we don't know who Alfa Romeo second driver is. Is that all? Because I think we know everybody else. We know Williams. We know Alfa Romeo's one driver. So the rest of it we're still trying to figure out. So basically, Giovinazzi is trying to fight for his F1 life, and he's not doing a great job at it.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, which move? We already know Justin, so I probably will go to Patrick first. Which driver move, do you like the most ahead of 2022? Patrick, I'll start with you first.
Well, I'm not going to do George Russell because I know Justin's going to talk for hours.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, Alex Albon back in F1, I'm very excited for.
That's pretty huge, actually.
I'm surprised he left like Red Bull to go to the Mercedes Williams, but I'm glad that happened.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised that he didn't find a role with AlphaTauri this year. Like I thought him and Gasly would be like a dynamic 1-2 this year.
It would be a cool duo.
Not that Yuki has been awful by any means. Like Yuki's got a couple top 10 finishes. So
I just think they've invested so much in Yuki at this point. He's so young still too, right?
Yeah, because isn't it like his like second full year of driving single seat like internationally or something?
Is he only 21 as well?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
We're 20. Like yeah. But he's technically had like 2 real years of experience, and the tracks where he's made a lot of mistakes, they've been tracks that he's never raced actually, other than like a simulator. So I think that's what they take into consideration. Because
sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say like the couple races that like he actually has been at before, he does a bit better. So I guess there is improvement there.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. What you just said, like Bahrain, where he did his preseason testing, he did amazing on that race.
Yeah, exactly. So there's potential.
Justin, why is George Russell the best driver change for the next season?
How do you know I'm gonna say that?
Because so is he not
okay?
Your,
well, it is.
Is he not your lock screen anymore?
No, Squid Game girl is.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, it was me for like 2 hours.
Huh? Yeah, it was. No, it was actually for like a week.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty happy with George. I think he's really maximized the car in Williams, and I don't know. I think they're, even though like Toto's like really stressed that he can't like cause havoc with Lewis and like create like a Rosberg event again. I feel like it might come to it eventually. Like maybe not right away, but I think as George kind of develops, he's gonna want more than just be second place every single time.
Yeah, isn't that how most of these F1 team rivalries things work out? Like we already kind of saw it with McLaren a little bit earlier this year with like Lando and Daniel, when Lando's just like either hurry the fuck up, Daniel, or get out of the way so I could pass. Like that's how Formula One usually turns out. Nice.
Yeah.
I should like 75% of the time it just feels like there's like driver rivalry at the top that splits everybody apart. And unless you're like competing against Michael Schumacher, like unless you're competing against Michael Schumacher, you're gonna have rivalries. So as long as I feel like if George can just like be number 2, like be the second best for a while, I think he's in a good spot.
Hey, maybe by the time George is like actually capable of like really winning and like really competing with like Lewis or doing better and like with Max, maybe Lewis will retire. You know, you never know. Guy's like 36 or something now.
Yeah, he's got 2 years left on his contract.
Yeah. So
maybe he won't renew. Maybe he'll pull a Rosberg and just leave.
Maybe I want to find out who the oldest F1 driver is ever, because I feel like that's a record Lewis wants to break.
Think so?
I don't think he's gonna hit that.
I don't know. I feel like, what is it? I saw in like his bio, he doesn't even have Formula One in his Instagram bio. He's got like, he's got like plant lover and finding my purpose, like everything but Formula One.
Okay, yeah, the F1 driver was 58, so I don't think he's getting.
Oh yeah, then he's probably not hitting that. So like he'll maybe get to like Alonso's 40 and call it good.
Yeah, exactly.
So. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe Raikkonen's like a bit too old. Maybe he doesn't want to do this at 43. The other thing about Lewis Hamilton is that Lewis Hamilton is like more than an F1 driver right now. Like he doesn't need to be doing F1. He just does it because he loves doing it.
Why isn't it in his bio then?
Because he's more than a Formula One driver.
Yeah,
but he just does. He just does part of his life.
Lewis Hamilton is like, he's a celebrity who happens to drive. Like that's Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, good way of putting it.
Driver change move that you like the least for next season. There hasn't been a whole lot of moves. I mean, I guess if you don't like Red Bull bringing back Sergio Perez again, you could say that. But I mean,
I don't think anyone really hated it. No one went like crazy about it because no one really hates Perez. But I don't think I'd hate it.
I thought it was a good move.
Yeah, it's a stable move.
I mean, I'm not totally big on like Williams. I know I just say give him a little credit, but like Latifi in the grand scheme of things is not that great of a driver.
But I mean, money again,
pretty much, yeah. The Williams just gets another funding, resource. what are the odds that Alex Albon actually like outpaces, like out qualifies and outperforms Latifi on a regular basis? I feel like that's certainly in play. It's like Albon outperforming Latifi.
I think it'll be pretty often.
Mhm.
I think it'll be maybe like the same pace as like George 1 or 2 seasons ago. Like that's similar where he's like always ahead, but never like just destroying competition at Williams. But I think he'll always be consistently ahead and by like maybe like 5 places, but maybe not in the points, but like 5 places ahead.
Latifi or Albon?
Albon.
You think Albon's gonna hit 15 every race?
Maybe.
Interesting.
Has will crash and Has will crash. Giovinazzi will crash and Aston Martin's will probably crash. Or Lance will crash. Just everyone will crash, and there's Albon. Unless he crashes into Lewis again.
Yeah.
Takes out the backworker, takes out he'll be mad about 2 years ago.
Yeah, instead of a Red Bull like fighting for like first or like a top 5 spot, it's now going to be a Williams and a blue flag situation. That's the difference with Albon and Lewis. Justin, do you have a worse driver move that you're not excited for next year?
Not particularly a move. I mean, I wish Aston Martin would do something a little more like drastic that would like put him in a better place. Because
Lawrence should fire his own kid.
Like obviously it's not gonna happen, but like that would probably like put him in a better position realistically. I don't know. I just feel like they actually have potential with like the resources they have, and they're just sticking with Lance. And like, yeah, he's not bad, but he's just not doing anything to like, I don't know, like show off the car's potential and like push it to the limit. Like, I don't know. They need someone like George to like come in and like just like show them what like the car could really do.
George Russell to Aston Martin? George Russell to Aston Martin?
Okay, no. But someone like George. George
Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi.
I feel like that's just going from like a bad to a bad.
Yeah, we're not solving anything.
And you're firing your son for a guy that's like arguably just as bad.
Can I make the argument again? I think I said this last time, but can I make the argument that if Giovinazzi cut his ear or man bun, if Giovinazzi cut his man bun, he would like it wouldn't improve?
Weight reduction. Oh, you can't argue that. You can't argue that. There's nothing there.
I just want to do like a social experiment for the next 5 races. If Gio cuts off his man bun, I just want to see how it turns out.
I mean,
what do you mean just for 5 races? You're supposed to grow it back in 5 races.
No, I just want him I just want no man bun for the last 5 races of the year, and I just want to see how it goes.
Technically,
maybe he'll have better luck.
Maybe he can't see in the helmet, like the hair is just in his way or something. I don't know.
Patrick, do you have a worse driver move or move you don't like this next season?
Honestly, wasn't that many, and I didn't think any were necessarily bad. Obviously, the Bottas move had to happen, but it depends what their car looks like next year, so we'll see.
Okay. Track-wise, are we looking forward to any newer returning tracks next season?
I'm excited for Montreal to be back.
Yeah, Montreal should be really good. I hope that's... Montreal should be cool. Maybe Lance will actually like do well in Montreal, and then he'll just get an extension because of how well he performed in Canada next season.
You never know.
Who's to say?
Latifi.
Yeah.
You never know.
You're predicting right now, Lance and Latifi 1-2.
Yeah, anything can happen in Canada.
I'm not predicting that, but I'd love to see if there's like a FanDuel like parlay bet of like Latifi and Lance finishing in the top 3.
Yeah, a 1-2.
I'll take that bet against you.
I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm just wondering if that thing exists.
It's possible.
Next year they're going to be racing in Miami. That track I don't think looks that good.
No.
Saudi Arabia track that they're going to be using this year. I don't even think they're going to be using it this year because it doesn't look anywhere close to being finished if you've seen the photos. That also does not look like a good track. What other track? Oh, they're going back to Imola again next year. I'm excited for that. I like Imola.
Imola is pretty cool.
Any other track? I mean, Japan. I hope Japan goes well next year. I hope they can finally get back doing that. That would be cool.
Singapore?
I think so. I think there's also Singapore. I think the only thing that's not expected to return next year is China because of China's travel restrictions.
Yeah, that's pretty strict.
That's all I know. Going through Formula One, I cannot find any bets for parlays, so that's disappointing on FanDuel. Anything else for next season that we're really looking forward to seeing? The Bottas move is a fascinating one. I want to, you touched on it a little bit, Patrick, but I wanted to mention, I don't know if this really, I mean, Bottas is probably the best driver that they've had in a while, but I don't know if that still gives them a clear sense of direction as to, like we were talking about the last time. Like, it just feels like you just got a really good driver, but what does that actually, are you now a top 5 team? Does that depend on who your second driver is?
I think it's a situation where they don't know what they're doing. He's just only there because there's no other place to be.
Yeah, and like the only other place for Bottas to go would have been probably Williams, and I don't think he'd want to. I think he'd see that as like a full downgrade and probably hate himself for it.
Probably. I mean, there's something to be said for that. I think the Williams car will be better next year, but I know it's not going to be on the same level as Mercedes.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, Alpha's still probably going to be closer to like the Haas and Williams than they are like Ferrari and McLaren.
I feel like Haas could surprise us. You never know. Maybe they'll be like up at 5th place.
They've been saving a lot of money and investing in the 2022 car. So if it's a shit car next year, somebody's gonna get fired.
Yeah,
somebody's gonna canned.
They said that they've made a lot of good progress as well. Like in every wind tunnel session, they've made good progress. But it just depends on their progress might be going well every time. But what if Mercedes is just crushing it with like insane downforce and like low drag and I don't know. Anything's possible though. It's kind of hard to tell, but at least they're making progress. So, like, you could expect something from them. Maybe not 0 points near the end of the season.
Well, I think also the other thing too is that, I mean, Mazepin's a lost cause. I don't think you're expecting any points from him. But at least with Mick, I do feel like Mick actually could be like not competing for points regularly, but I do feel like he could be putting himself in contention to like maybe get a couple points finishes.
Do you think Mick, I don't know if I'm like jumping ahead of our podcast, but do you think Mick did what he did on purpose on the last race, on like the last lap? Do you think he had like different intentions? Because like he obviously out of the way. And,
I don't
really doesn't
He's been doing that all year though. I don't think that's.
Yeah, and
he's never like really in the way like that though. I felt like that was a bit more than usual. Like usually he's pretty smart.
Every race where he's been in the way though.
I also think this might be a really bad excuse, but I also feel like how like Sector 3 is at Austin, where it's basically like a lot of not hairpin, it kind of like hairpins, and then you have like the weird like. I feel like there's also not a great spot at that point to get out of the way, to not be involved in traffic. Like, I feel like there's not a great spot where you aren't involved, but I do feel like that's just him driving, and it's just how it worked out.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy ending though.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. Lewis gave it all, but Max was just better that day. Max was a better.
It's not 6 a.m. too.
Well, that's why I think Justin's coming over again for the Mexican Grand Prix. Because what is that? Is that at 11 Pacific time?
12, I think.
1, isn't it?
Ooh. No, it's not 1.
It's definitely not 1. It's more than an hour difference from the race we just had.
So at least 11.
Maybe 12. Might be 12.
Okay. No, I think Nick, obviously I think he's a really good driver. He's in a shit car. It's gonna be a better car next year, and he might get a couple points. Like
maybe a shit car, or maybe a shit driver and a good car. We don't know.
No, that's not.
We got to put George in there for a benchmark.
Okay.
Okay, listen. I raced at 11 o'clock Pacific, by the way, 11 a.m. Pacific on Sunday. I think with Mick, they'll get next year for Mick feels like 2020 for George Russell. Like that's what it kind of feels like for myself. Of like, this guy's gonna be like probably overachieving with his car, and then it'll lead him. I don't know, because I think Ferrari's got Sainz and Leclerc locked up through 2023, so he'll probably go to like Alfa Romeo or something like next year. And or not next year, 2023. He'll probably go to Alfa Romeo for 2023, and then he'll join Ferrari afterwards. That's probably how this all works.
Probably. That seems realistic.
And then, I will be right in saying that Schumacher wins a title, a driver's championship by the end of the decade, and Patrick will give me $100. So let's preview the rest of 2021 then. Round table. Who wins the drivers' championship first? Verstappen?
Max, definitely.
I'm gonna say Lewis. I think Lewis somehow finds a way. Lewis just finds ways to win. Like he almost found a way to win 2 weeks ago in the US, and he didn't. But he almost did. And I'd rather, I think, take an almost with Lewis Hamilton than a likely with Verstappen.
It's going to be so anticlimactic if Lewis wins, though.
Yeah,
I don't think it will.
I'm gonna be a little disappointed if Lewis wins.
Because I think
if Max doesn't win.
Here's the thing: because we've talked about if this comes down to Abu Dhabi, if this comes down to the last race, right?
Probably.
I think that will still intrigue people, even if it's at a shit circuit like Yas Marina. I still feel like people will be interested. People will be talking about it.
Well, they did make the changes there this year, didn't they?
They did. They did make the changes at turn. Is that 4 and 5 at before the hairpin?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Anyways, Yas Marina, Abu Dhabi should be a better circuit this year. I'm assuming then you guys have Red Bull winning constructors.
I had Mercedes winning constructors.
I don't think. I don't know. That's kind of hard to say. I'm not too sure about the constructors because, Perez is doing okay, but he's not doing crazy good. I think after the Mexican GP, we'd have a better answer, a more accurate answer. Just because the Red Bull car is kind of really good for that circuit. So I don't know. We'll see.
I think it's going to come down to what team has a DNF in these last 5 races because they need those points.
Doesn't Valtteri Bottas have the third most points for all drivers since being announced? He would be going to Alfa Romeo. Since being announced that he's going to Alfa Romeo next year, Bottas has been kicking ass.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably why I'll take Mercedes to win the constructors because Bottas has been on a roll. But that's actually a really good point, Patrick. Who's going to DNF and who is going to miss out on points at the end? Who has a better finish, McLaren or Ferrari? I'll say Ferrari, but I think even if it's a tie, I think it'll be really cool.
I have Ferrari just because of the upgrades.
I think McLaren will, just because Daniel looks more promising.
You're buying a lot of Daniel Ricciardo stock after he went to America for a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I bought all the hoodies, all the colors, even the teal one.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
my iPhone password is 4444.
Okay. It's a Ricardo password, but a Russell screensaver.
Yeah.
So now we know your lock screen and phone password.
Yeah.
Justin Yip loves F1, everybody. Hot take between now for something to happen between now and the rest of the season.
If someone's ahead by 3 points in the last race, do you see them just crashing any other guy?
Probably. Aren't we all just here to win?
So you think if Max is ahead of Lewis by like 3 points?
No, I think if
and-
Lewis is ahead of Max, he does it because I know Lewis can get away with it.
Yeah, that's true. But
I
would
don't think-
Max
I think
do
Max
it,
does
or would
it.
Max just
He's black
accept it?
from F1. But I think
I
Lewis,
feel like anything goes in the last race, and I really feel like it's terrible if it comes to the FIA having to make a ruling on the very last race. That's why
I think this lap one on the grid just like turn right.
yeah, like the overcompensate, like say like Max has pole, say Lewis or Max, whoever has pole, because then Yas Marina, it's a left-hander on the first turn, but you got to overcompensate to go right to go make that first turn. Is that what they're gonna do? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not a bad hot take. Justin, do you have a hot take, a scorcher for the people?
Haas doesn't finish last in the constructors.
Whoa.
What?
Wait.
They only need 7 points. They only need 7 points.
You think they're gonna finish like 6th? Or how many points does 6th?
So
They need-
there's
okay, they need
7 there's
8 points.
7 points.
They
There's
need
7
8
points. Yeah, you need 8 points, which means that you need to finish.
You need
I don't-
Mick to just do really well one race.
You need Mick to like get like a top 5 finish. essentially.
Hey! Someone here, it might have been Patrick. Someone here said George would never get a podium this season. Look what happened.
Okay, but
you
like,
gotta start believing in what I say.
Well, I'm gonna say if Lewis does take out the whole grid yeah,
Exactly.
never know.
You never know. It's possible.
that Belgian Grand Prix was the stupidest race ever.
Yeah, I don't know what that. Yeah.
I woke up and I thought my phone was broken.
Justin, you actually
I got up to watch that.
I woke up at like 1. I thought my phone was broken.
it says 1 p.m.
Yeah, I looked at my phone. I was like, why is it only showing me the bottom half of the race drivers?
And I think we should also mention our fantasy standings.
Oh God! All right. Yeah. And that's the Formula One esports. That's not what I'm looking for. And F1 fantasy, in our league that we are doing. This is a good time filler, by the way, Patrick, because no one sent any questions. So thanks to everybody for not sending a goddamn question to us. Mailbag is really going good.
I've got a question.
What's your question?
There's been a lot of rumors. Huh?
He's just trying to distract you from saying he's in second place.
There's been a lot of rumors of Volkswagen or like Porsche coming in 2026. I think it's 2026. Do you guys think they will actually come in as like a team or someone like Audi? Who do you guys think would come in?
Well, I think they'd come in if Haas left.
Really? There's room for more teams to come in. You can have 26 drivers, I think.
Well, it depends if they want.
Well, are we talking about like as teams or like power units?
As teams.
Well, I think they'll start off as power units.
Yeah, I think they were thinking about like there's possibilities of them partnering with Red Bull. Potentially. It's just talks now, but it's possible that because obviously Red Bull doesn't have Honda going forward, so they were looking at potentially Volkswagen.
And then Volkswagen would come in as a team, as Porsche.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd like to see it because I don't know if the sport can really live off of just Mercedes, Ferrari. Who else am I missing? Everybody's driving a Mercedes right now. People are driving a Honda as well, but Honda's leaving. But like Mercedes, Renault still has a power units that
Ferrari as well.
I thought Renault did they?
Well, that's what Alpine's using.
Oh yeah. I thought they went to Mercedes.
No, I got Alpine.
Alpine's still Renault. Alpine's still Renault.
Alpine's still Renault.
Yeah, they're still Renault this year.
But I mean, pretty much every team is either driving like a Honda, Mercedes, or Ferrari.
Yep.
And Honda's leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much that leaves it to Mercedes, Ferrari, and Renault. Which I think it's pretty obvious. Like,
will be coming in as the.
Pardon me?
Red Bull will be coming in as the fourth eventually.
Red Bull will, but like,
I don't know. They'll figure something out.
It'll basically be a Honda engine, but Red Bull.
It's a Honda engine, but I don't think like a new, like, obviously Alpha Tauri is a part of Red Bull, so Alpha will be using the Red Bull engine. But like, I don't think a new team is gonna like use a Red Bull engine, because I don't think that really makes a whole lot of sense.
No.
So maybe they get some new blood, some fresh blood, and get a new team, and I wouldn't mind that.
Hey, maybe we'll see a Lamborghini. You never know. Who knows?
Wasn't Lamborghini owned by? Who owns Lamborghini?
Volkswagen.
It's the same people.
Yeah. So maybe we'll see a okay, well, I guess Volkswagen, but
yeah. So you're gonna get a Volkswagen at some point, I would think. Also, it depends on what the sport looks like regulations wise, in like the next 10 years. Like, I don't think it's gonna go all like, it's not gonna be like electric like Formula E, but like there's got to be like some regulation, like, because that's part of why Honda's pulling out, is because it's not environmentally friendly, or not as not along the same lines as company values or whatever.
They're focusing a lot on the fuel. That's what they're bringing, not the engine.
Yeah, and that's why Volkswagen is like hesitant, but now they're considering it because they're being more like environmentally cautious. Like the FIA is being environmentally cautious. That's why Volkswagen's like considering it more than they ever have, is because of that. Like they've been focusing on I forget what they're called, like that, like
Petronas.
Sorry?
Petronas.
No, they've been focusing on like their other cars, like those hydrogen ones, I think.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Those other race cars. I don't know what they are, but they're like LM something cars.
Oh, yeah, I should go with that. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they've been focusing on like the touring cars, but not touring cars.
Yeah. And they also do the Porsche Cup as well, like
Porsche
before some of the races. So I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing to see him on the Sunday as well.
Would you become a big Porsche F1 team supporter?
You know, I might. I just might. You never know. I did just buy a Porsche car. Right there. This is a purple GT3 RS.
You know, I stopped playing with Hot Wheels years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I had a bunch of like Hot Wheels NASCARs when I was a kid. Like that's what I used to like play with all the time.
Really? I've also got a Nissan right here.
Lexus gonna get into F1?
Huh?
Lexus gonna get into F1?
Toyota? Who knows? Anything is possible.
I know Toyota used to be in Formula One, and then I think the cost just became so much. And I think it was also like at the financial crisis in like 2008, it like coincided with that. So I think Toyota took a big hit with that.
Did they make engine? They made engines?
Yeah, they did.
Early 2000s, I think.
Yeah, they did, but I'm trying to think of who they. I'm pulling up here. Panasonic Toyota Racing was a Formula One team owned by Japanese automobile manufacturer Toyota Motor Corporation and based in Cologne, Germany.
Oh. So just one team.
Yeah, I guess so. I feel like they made engines for other. Yeah, so Toyota was, as a manufacturer, as a power unit, they made engines for their own Toyota team, Jordan and Williams.
Oh.
The more you know.
The more I learn something every day.
They had 0 podium. Zero race victories, 17 podiums.
No.
4 fastest laps in a from 2002 to 2009.
There you go, Justin.
There you go. All right.
By the way, just to go back to the fantasy team, Patrick is in first. He has 2,936 points. Justin has 2,830 and a half points.
Count the half.
I have 2,450 and a half points. So I am less than 500 points back of Patrick. I'm probably not catching Patrick with 5. I need to average at least 100 points over the next 5 races, and Patrick to get 0.
You've already used your Mega Driver too, haven't you?
And I've used my Mega Driver, so that's not happening. Justin has a better shot.
He's still got a wild card.
He's still got a
wild card, but I'm trying to stick to this whole one team for I switched a couple of times just to scare everyone.
Did you switch this week?
Huh?
Did you switch this week?
No, I haven't switched the past 4 races.
Oh.
Or 4, maybe 5 races, I think. Yeah.
So just trying to see what your team looks like, because I can see your
Justin. I got almost 100 more than you.
Justin's team for the US. I don't know if you changed it. You might have. I don't know. Verstappen, Norris, Gasly, Russell, Schumacher, Mercedes. You actually played Mick?
I've had Mick since the start.
I don't understand why people
look at his points history. He's actually quite consistent.
Also rounding out the top 5. Rounding out the top 5 in our fantasy league. Friend of the podcast, Devin Bailey. He's got 2,272 points. He's not catching us. And Justin's second team, Mazepin me, with 2,147 and a half points. 300 less than 300 behind me. So as long as I finish behind or finish ahead of Justin's spam team, then I'm doing okay.
You don't want to let that team pass you. That's pretty bad.
Thing.
That's pretty bad to see.
Yeah, I can't. I really can't. Boys, anything else you want to discuss? Formula 1 related, driving related, anything else you want to discuss before we head out here?
Who do you think wins the Mexican GP?
Lewis Hamilton.
Really?
Yeah, sadly.
Sergio Perez. I will call Sergio wins the Mexican Grand Prix.
Okay.
Shut up.
Hey, no, I really think Red Bull will do a 1-2.
Why don't you just explain some unforeseen circumstance? Like it's going to be a wet race and George on like Interslick somehow pulls off the victory.
Yeah, everyone's going to start on softs except for George. George is going to go in full wets.
Yeah.
It'll be perfect. No, I think Red Bull will do a 1-2 because I was reading that like their engines are really good in like less oxygen like races because it's like an elevated race. So I think they'll do better. Plus Mercedes could potentially have that engine penalty as well. Again,
are you doing your own research on this sort of stuff, Justin?
Yeah, I like to come prepared for our discussions.
You go through Facebook and Reddit just to get your own research?
I go through the Formula 1 app, actually. And I'm in a Facebook group.
All right. On that note, that's probably the title of this podcast. Justin's in a Facebook group. That's the podcast, boys. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this. I'm sure we'll do a year in review recap at some point in December when we aren't, pressured with school and exams and time. But nevertheless, thank you very much for taking the time to join me. Special thanks to Patrick. Special thanks to Justin. Thank you to everybody listening to this. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the post notifications, repost it on your stories, your spam stories, your mom stories, your dad stories, email it, fax it, Discord it, Skype, Kick.
How many Discord groups are you in? How many Discord groups are you in?
I don't know. I haven't logged in a long time.
We should do Discord conversations. Anyways, Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back again soon. Peace out.